Hello and welcome back everybody, this is in Blender. So we are going to be continuing from where we left off by rigging this character and trying to move it and everything. In this one I have some friend of mine who is a 3D artist to help me in this one, so introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, my name is Ananya and I am one of the co-founders of Blender, and we'll be glad to help you around with today's rigging project.
So before we start rigging, we gotta make sure everything is correct and we have applied every modifier because we don't want modifiers, playing with our rig. So first let's add an armature, but I think this is not bad with what we have. If you want, you could go ahead and apply everything. I might apply the bevel, so I'll tell you another shortcut right here, so which is shift A, which have been introduced in Blender 2.9. Control A, sorry. If you press Control A here, you can apply it automatically, so you could ease work. So what do you say about 2.9, Ananya?
Probably 2.9 is one of the most competitive 3D softwares I have seen so far. Blender has advanced in ways I can't even imagine right now.
I know this is crazy. 3 or 5 years before now, this software is like for hobbyists. Now we see it popping up in industries and stuff.
Don't you remember when we used to make 3D art using Blender 2.79?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
some old
hard
time.
times, hard times.
Okay, let's just continue with this one. We have applied everything. You control A, so I have done this. So let's just continue and do other parts. So first, before we add the rig, we gotta make sure everything is in one folder, because when we append it later for some extra stuff, we could just click one folder and have everything ready. Sorry for that, that's just a pop-up. And now we have this. I could just go ahead and delete the reference. We don't need it anymore. Maybe I should disable this, but some extra stuff. So I will try and see. These are the springs, so I'll just put them here and we can delete the extra one for the center. Yeah, we should disable this one. So I'm back. I have disabled the notifications. So now we could just go ahead and start rigging. But first, we got an issue here. We have to apply everything that is, mirrored in the other side, because we want to have a nice and clean geometry. And we click Shift A in the mirror, like the Control A in the mirror, just in the mirror. We want the bevels and stuff, just keep them. Those won't hurt. So I'll just go ahead and Control A this. What else do we have? Yeah, this one. Just the mirror, like here, Control A. Now if I move this, nothing should move, but if there's something that is moving, you should just go ahead and Control A with those. Now let's just go ahead and, yep, we have more problems. These guys are, starting trouble, so let's just go ahead and do the same for these guys too. Keys work now. Okay, wow. What is moving? Rigging is some tedious process. Like, you could tell them how many projects we failed by just
Oh,
doing
whoa.
that.
I probably have a book about that.
Yeah, we should write a book about it. Like,
Technically, our first project we failed because of rigging was an astronaut we made. We had a great project, but didn't work out because of the rigging.
yeah, rigging is a pain in the ass.
Technically, we should have known one modifier at the time: shrink wrapping. Simple as that. We didn't know it, made our lives a
But we learn
living
from
hell.
it. We learn
We
from it.
learned
Yeah,
a
we
lot of stuff from it.
back to this. So we have applied by Control A. So now we could just go ahead and continue this, guys. Shift A. Don't worry if it's a curve or anything. You could just right click to convert any kind of geometry to a mesh or something. Now if you go to the edit mode in here, you could see that this is a curve. So I'm not going to apply it right now because we want to have some tweaks later, but once we have those tweaks, we are good to go. Now I could just add a new collection right here and call it rig. Now in that same folder, I'll press Shift A and add an armature. There are some presets. Don't worry if you don't see some presets like this. Just go ahead and add a single bone. because we want to, create everything from scratch and show you the rigging process of any kind of, hard surface stuff. So the same things apply to here. Before you do any kind of editing on a bone, you usually start with show. You go to here, the armature stub, and press the name. We want to see every bone's name in the axis because we want to align them properly. And most important is the in front check button, because we don't want to be struggling to watch the bones while the geometry is hiding them. Now we could just watch them. Now we are going to be continuing in the viewport display. I don't think it would. Okay, now we have this. So this is kind of a preference, but I like to work with the B bones kind of bones because they are, we could scale them and stuff. I'll show you. Just change it on this one. Trust me on this one. So now let's just start rigging. First, we gotta go to the edit mode of this bone and start renaming the bone first. We'll call this a root bone because whenever you are animating, you want a root bone because you want to, have a general idea of how are you going to be animating this. So root, call it root like this, and move it just around there because we want it in the center like this. So do you have any kind of questions in your perspective about what I have done so far?
Uh, technically, I have one memory of us back in the day when we started 3D art.
Oh yeah.
Remember when we used to do projects without labeling anything?
Yeah, those times were bad.
Those times were really bad.
Yeah, I know. You always want to name your projects because those projects are going to be, whenever you have a rig and you want to bind it to an armature, you gotta go to scrolling like every kind of thing. And like when you have something like properly named, you could just search for it and click it.
Exactly. The more complex the project, the harder it's gonna be to navigate through.
Yeah. Some simple stuff like this won't hurt that much, but you should really start, doing some stuff. And what reminds me is to enable the screencast tools after now on, because we gotta show you what we are pressing. So now we gotta press Control Alt and S to scale it like this. We'll add a custom bone shape for that one, but we are just going to be continuing with this one. So I'll add this. This is why I like the B bones. We could add too much with them. So now we have this. I could just go ahead and continue this rig. So we have the root bone. We want something for this part, for the base of this. So I'll just go ahead and go to the wireframe, extrude it on the z-axis like this. Click this bone P and separate bone. Nope, Alt P and clear parent. You gotta press this. Don't separate the bone. It will create another armature. Now we have this. We could just go ahead G and scale it like this in the Control Alt S and something like this and scale it in the z-axis like this. So we got root bone and we have some bone for this base. So I'll call it the base. So you could just click this and F2, press F2 to rename the bone and call this the base. Perfect. So now we gotta start rolling this. So after now, this is some easy stuff after it. Now you should just go ahead, um, click something, click this part right here, go to this and select this bottom part. Now press Shift S and cursor to select. Nope, selection to cursor. I think, yeah, cursor to selected. You press this, now the 3D cursor is there. So now we can perfectly align our bone there. Select this part, go to the edit mode. Now if you press Shift A to add a new bone, it will automatically create a bone right there. So G and Z to move it somewhere about there. Now in the last tutorials I've told you not to move the center part of this. Now let's use that technique that we have put everything in the center. Shift S, cursor to selected. Now this is just a matter of just moving stuff. Now you press the bone tip right there, Shift S and selection to cursor. Right there, perfect. Now we could just go ahead and continue creating the bone. But something I have noticed, this is too much for our rig. Make it smaller, like this. Now we want to see the axis before, because to add constraints later it will be easier. So that's it. I'll select this part Now select this, Shift S, cursor to selection, cursor to selected like this. Um, Select the bone. If you want something to be faster like this, press here and disable the lock object mode. This will help you while you are doing some stuff. Like if you press this and go back to here, if it's in pose mode, it will automatically be staying in pose mode. So just do that. Select this part, extrude it like this. Shift S, selection to cursor like this. Now after now on, it's just a matter of doing this. So Ananya, what do you have any kind of question about this? Something that is, um,
Technically, I have a comment.
okay.
Well, so far I've seen you rig this project, and I have to say I'm impressed. The size of the bones really matters in some cases.
Oh yeah,
We have been doing lots of big projects, and the size of the bone really matters, right?
yeah. You have to really start looking at your bones like this because if that's too big, you'll miss some bones that are some kind of, No, I'll just continue this. Like I've pressed this one. Now we had some issues because the bones are not in the center for this one. So I just click the right here, right click and set origin to geometry like this to put it there. And now I just press Shift S and selection to cursor. Now I'll select this part, the top part, extrude it and Shift S select selection to cursor right there. Now we will just Shift S, cursor to selected, select this bone, extrude it, Shift S, selection to cursor. I'll not go there. I'll show you what we are going to be doing here. I had this issue in my last rig, so I'll, show you the easy part right there. So I'll just go back here. Now this is the main root part of this bone, and we want to create the secondary one, which is going to be affected by this one. So I'll just go ahead and select this bone, click it right there. First, let's go here, Shift S, cursor to selected, go there, select it, extrude it like this. Shift S, selection to cursor right there. Select this bone, Shift S like this. This is just the same process till you get your rig right. So extrude it like this, Shift S, selection to cursor. This is why too many people don't like rigging. In my case, I love rigging because this is the process which you'll get to know what you are going to be animating and stuff. You should always do rigging if you can do it yourself, but if you have somebody who is professional on it, give them the right, of course.
Yes, exactly. When you start rigging, you must have a fundamental knowledge about physics, about simple machines like pulley systems and stuff.
Yeah, but don't get freaked out and think
That's
that you
really
gotta
simple
be
stuff. Seventh graders know that.
okay. So we are not going to be having this guy again. Okay, so I'll just extrude it like this, Shift S and selection to cursor. I'm feeling like I'm repeating myself, but I have no choice. So now we are almost done with aligning the base. So I'll just disable the names for now. Now we have this. So we want to create some kind of constraint. So this guy is going to be following this guy, but we got to have something that is, you need to make them follow. Those are called constraints. But first, I'll just do this. Now when we have this, we don't want to continue using like this because this part is going to be connected to it. So we want something that looks like this because it works better this way. Yeah, I have played with the rig, just it works better this way, trust me on this one. So I'll just extrude this part, Shift S, selection to cursor. Now go here, same deal, cursor to selected, go ahead. I think, yep. Don't forget to select the right bone, which is like this, and extrude it, Shift S, selection to cursor. And voila, we have our base mesh ready. For the top part, that's some simple stuff, so I'll just continue with it. So select this edge loop right here, which is going to be the center of this. Shift S, cursor to selected right there, and select the bone right here. Extrude it in the Z-axis, and Shift S, selection to cursor, like that. And perfect. So we are almost done with it. So I'll just add one for this part right here. Select the top part, Shift S, Now after this, you are probably going to be, have using this technique all the time. So this is why I have, I could have had a time lapse of it, but I want to see everything you guys I'm doing for you guys. So extrude it like this, Shift S and selection to cursor. Now we have the base rig for our character. Voila.
Might seem hard, but after a couple of years of practice, it's pretty simple.
Not couple of years. You know that you can learn like a 3D software
It really
within.
depends on your dedication, I
Yeah,
guess.
it just like it takes about 3 months if you have, the best if you are very dedicated to it. It takes just 3 months to learn any 3D
Exactly.
software. To
If you get
perfect it, it could take like 10,000 hours, but to get started with it and do whatever you want is just like 3 months, more than enough.
if you could practice like 7 hours every day, like my friend
Seven
Imran
hours.
here,
Come on, guys.
you could
7
improve a
hours.
lot.
7 hours is a lot. Like just do 2 hours.
He
That's
actually did that back in the day when he started 3D art.
that was some good time. So
I love those times. We failed so much.
yeah, that's probably you are like introducing some bad memories, like failing projects and stuff. So I'm just checking that everything is in line and stuff. We have everything in line, so we could just continue with this. So now let's just select the rig. We should start binding some stuff like that. So let's bind this. So every bone must be routed for to this one. So we want the root bone to affect everything. So first let's press this and go to the edit mode, select this bone, and if you go here and enable the relationship lines like this, shift select this, control P and keep offset. Now this bone is connected to this one, and we don't want this to be connected to this one. We want this one to be connected to this one.
Oh,
Control P and keep offset, because we want everything to the root bone. After this, they are all connected because we have this kind of weird thing here going on. So I'll just start binding the geometries. So I'll go to the object mode. This is what I'm talking about. If you have disabled the lock object mode, you could just go to the pose mode right here, select this base and go to here, like select this part like this, Control P and bone. Don't forget, press the bone. Now if I go ahead and rotate this guy, that will rotate with it. Perfect. So if I continue with this process, just select this part, shift select this, Control P, bone. Now we could just go ahead. This is rotating like this. Perfect. And I had some questions about where to bind this part of the geometry. Just bind it to the bottom part every time. Just select this, Control P and bone like this. Now we want this Control P, bone, Control P, sorry. Select this part, select this, Control P, bone. Voila. And yep, select this part. We want it to be with this one, Control P, bone, like this. If I rotate it, this should be working. Let's try this one. Nice one.
no, no, nice.
Okay, now let's just select this, Control P, bone like that. We have that. But now if I move this, you'll notice that this is not rigged. So select this part, Control P. Always go for the bottom one for the bolts and nuts. Those should work like that. Yeah. So let's just continue with it. Select this part like this, Control P, bone. Okay, we want this one to be to be this one's child, so like this. Nice. Okay, we are almost done with the bottom part. So select this one, select this, Control P, bound like this. If I now move this part, it should move, but I don't think it's moving with this one. Yeah, select this part right here, the spring, not the spring, select that part. The spring is going to be having its own geometry because we want it to stretch and do other stuff too, like this. This is good. Now we have this, so if we can just click this, Control P, bone, Nice. Okay, if I move this, so this should move with this one. Control P, bone. I know this is tedious work, but there is no way around it. I have tried automatically and stuff. That's just always do it manually for this kind of binding. So I'll just go to the object mode. For some reason is not selecting this part. Okay, now select this, Control P, bone. Now we should go ahead. I don't know why it's not selecting right. I'll just go to the object mode like this, select this part, Control Tab pose mode like this, select this part, Control P, bone. Rotate it to see what is going with what.
Yeah, it's going on nice.
So we have something like this. So we have like 3 geometries to bind after this. So select this one. Don't forget to select this. If you have like multiple bones selected, you could have some problems. So make sure you don't have that problem. Just select this, Control P. So everything that is related to each other, just selected like that. Now for this one, this is a little bit tricky. You could be like, why are we doing it like this? Just do it like this. Select this part. Firstly, select the bolt right here and rig it to this one, Control P, and set it to this part like this. Now if you want this, and bind it to this one, which is this part right here. Now we have that one. Okay, let's go right there and rig it to this one, Control P, bone, and we're done. Okay, so we should worry about that part later. So I'll just select this bone, select this, Control P. Let's do the top part real quick. Yeah, forget the ear part that is going on. Control P, bone, and select this, and select this part. Control P and bone it like this. We have everything ready right now, so let's just check it real quick. So this is not bad.
This is actually pretty good.
Yeah, this is really nice. So I think I have done some problems right here. I don't want to rig the I will go to the edit mode in the bones, and I'll select this, Control P, and keep offset. I have remembered that um this is a lamp, so it should technically go like this. So whenever we are moving this part is the one which is going to be controlling it, which is why I have done that one. So I'll go to the edit mode, select the base part, and parent it to this part, which is keep offset like this. So whenever we are going to the edit mode and pose mode and moving this part, the bottom part should follow like this. And whenever we are moving this, everything should follow, but for some reason it's not following it. Edit mode, so we are going to be doing it again like this, Control P, and keep offset. Let's go here and try to move everything. Everything should be moving like this. So